Hello, all. A very good evening. Warm welcome to Rising Above Crisis, a 4-day workshop brought to you by Heartfulness Institute. It is my pleasure and privilege today to facilitate the first workshop in this series, which is centered on the theme of coping with anxiety and stress. My name is Jyoti Ganapati, and I am a human resources professional with a passion for holistic well being. I consider myself fortunate as both my job and my association with Heartfulness Institute as a volunteer gives me the opportunity to pursue my passion of sharing heartfulness techniques to help individuals and communities to begin and to be on their well-being journey. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Harish Mehta, interventional cardiologist, founder of Healing Hearts. With more than 20 years of experience, he's currently based out of Mumbai and he's best known as an interventional cardiologist with well-rounded clinical, scientific research and academic experience, and has had international exposure in the practice and techniques of interventional cardiology. Being a part of many groundbreaking research projects and establishing new frontiers in interventional cardiology, Dr. Harish continues contributing extensively to the growth, development, and scientific progress of cardiology in India and across the world. And he has been a meditation practitioner since 2007. A very warm welcome, Dr. Harish. How are you
Thank
today?
you. Good, very good. Thank you, Jyoti, for having me over.
Wonderful. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
It's
So
my
let's get started, Dr. Harish. Life has not been easy, and especially in your profession. So very curious to know, tell us a little about how does a day look like for Dr. Harish Mehta?
Actually, if you call it day, I would say 24 hours. So our day is like a 24-hour day. So generally, it starts at about 6 in the morning, and we really don't know the end time. So it can end anywhere between 7 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., midnight, or I can be called back again in the night. So it keeps varying.
So no end in sight.
No, it's okay.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful. But yeah, especially considering the past 12 to 18 months that we are going through, our topic today is very relevant for all professions. But I really wonder if we have always been so prone to stress, anxiety, or depression, or is it just the COVID context? So, in your experience, what is your observation, and especially about our working professionals on the context of stress and anxiety that they're experiencing?
Right. So stress and anxiety has been part of our mankind since a very, very long time. I don't think that it was never not there. It was just different forms of stress. But the present stress in the last 12 to 18 months has been unprecedented. It's both fear of being alive. Are you going to be alive? Are you going to die? Are you going to die of COVID? Plus the fear of infecting your loved ones and an economic turndown. So it's a combination of multiple stresses that humans have to bear right now. So it's a major issue, and I think good you bought this webinar. It's time to get into this and how to deal with it. It's very important.
Absolutely. Yeah, and especially as we move towards that aspect of, yes, we are talking, and I think there has been a lot more awareness in the recent past about how to really focus on this. But do you see your patients or others in the community now becoming cognizant and taking well-being more seriously than they would have done a few months or years back?
Yeah, definitely. With this whole idea of total well-being, initially the well-being only used to be that when I have a disease, I'm going to go and meet a doctor. But now they realize that they have to prevent going to a doctor, and they realize it goes beyond physical well-being. They also realize that mental well-being is important, because stress leads to lack of exercise, lack of performance, lack of work, and everything goes down with stress. So they have started realizing, even corporates, even hospitals have started realizing that if they do not address the stress in their working environment, their output will diminish and people will have more and more burnout. And as you know, maximum suicides and burnouts are seen in doctors. Of course, I'm sure it's there in other professions too.
Right, right. So, on our topic today of, how do we really cope with anxiety and stress, what would be your experience and what would be your advice,
Yeah.
recommendation to our audience today?
So let me not advise you. Let me give you a short story, so you would know that how I finally accidentally bumped into managing stress. So it'll be very. I'll try to be very quick so that we don't spend too much time on myself. So I came back to India in 2001 and wanted to start my practice in India because my parents wanted me back here, and I was not very keen because I knew practicing in India would be difficult. But I did come back and started working in a hospital, in a corporate hospital. And first 6 to 9 months, I had no patient. I was getting bored. I was walking around the aisles of the hospital without any patient. And I wanted to be the best doctor, doing the best work, be busy. And nothing of that seemed to be in sight. So I went back to my parent and said, "Ki, should I go back?" They said, "No, no, give it 6 more months. And if you don't do well, go back." So in the subsequent 6 months to a year, I started doing well. I started doing better. Then I started doing very well. I had lots of patients, lots of work. And that is exactly what I wanted out of my life. So by this definition, I should have been happy, blissful. But then I realized it was exactly the opposite, because since I got busier and busier, I was sleeping less. I was awake all nights. I was having chest pains myself. I was under constant insecurity about my life, about my earning, about my profession. How am I going to look after my children in case I don't get a patient tomorrow? I don't have money. How will I look after the house? So all this had taken over my life, and I was going to the hospital every second day and doing my own ECG, and that ECG to see whether I am getting a heart attack. So I was worried that I am going to die of a heart attack. So what you characteristically described, that I was going through this burnout, and I was really spiraling downwards, not sleeping, constantly worried that I'm going to die, and insecure. So my wife suggested, "Ki, why don't you try something called heartfulness meditation?" So when we tried this heartfulness meditation, I didn't believe it. I'm a science graduate, so I said, "I don't believe in this meditation. It doesn't work. It has no meaning. There is no basis." So she said, "Why don't you try it for me?" So which I did. I did 3 sessions of heartfulness meditation, and then I just forgot about it. So I meditated a little bit off and on, 6 months, 9 months here and there, and just gave it up. I didn't really look at it. But 9 months to a year down the line, a couple of my patients who used to visit me frequently came and told me that, "Doctor, you have changed." And that was a surprise. I said, "What do you mean I've changed? Maybe I look different, maybe I've gained some weight, lost some weight. What is different?" So they made a very profound statement that, "Doctor, you are listening now." I said, "What do you mean I'm listening now? I always listen to my patients. How am I going to treat them?" He said, "No. Earlier we used to come, you used to listen to us for 2 minutes. You talk for 15 minutes and then we are out of the room because you're in a hurry to get us out so that the next patient walks into your chamber. And today, here I am for the past 45 minutes talking to you, telling me about everything about my life, and you're patiently listening." And this kept happening, and that was very surprising. So finally, I went and asked my wife, because she's a kind of mirror to me. So I asked her, "Ki, have I really changed? People are saying that." So she said, "What do you think?" I said, "I'm not sure." So she said, "Why don't you go and check your drawer? When was your last ECG done?" And when I went back and I saw in the last 9 months, I had not even been to the hospital for a single ECG. And the second thing she told me, which shocked me, that in those 9 months, I was sleeping peacefully. I was sleeping blissfully. So I was not worried about the tomorrow. And this is how I accidentally bumped into dealing with stress and anxiety. And I thought it was a brilliant accident to have. So
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, as we say that some of these things, life has its own way of teaching us. It's very hard, as what you went through, and a lot of us go through that difficult phase of not knowing, and as you rightly said, chasing happiness. But once you have everything, you wonder, what did you really want? and and very interesting, as you say, Dr. Harish, about accidentally bumping into this practice of meditation. And initially, probably you didn't do it as much seriously. So, it's the beauty that others around you started to recognize that there was some change. So, having been a practitioner as well, I kind of, relate to some of the things that you said. But in the current setup, again, it is very hard sometimes when we talk about these meditation practices. The first question and the concern people have is, I'm so busy. Where is the time? So, how do you address that? And you said that you have a start day and you have no end time to your day. So, how do you manage it?
it's a very easy thing, which I realized afterwards. I think even I used to always complain, I have no time, there's no time, I can't do it. I don't. It's very easy, because then suppose you're traveling in the car, which we have to, right? I go between two hospitals, so I have 30-40 minutes. So those 30-40 minutes used to go in cursing the driver, why you're driving like this. The traffic is bad. I'm going to be late for the surgery. I'm going to be late to the hospital. The best is to close your eyes for those 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and there's your time. So you don't have to be home sitting at one place to meditate. You could meditate in your clinic. You could meditate in your car. I mean, that's what I started doing. So it's been years since I've looked outside my car window to see if there's traffic or not. So that's the way of finding time. So time can always be found. It's just that you have to take your own health in your hand.
Okay, great. We're also seeing some comments by our audiences where they say they're on a lot of medication for depression or anxiety or to deal with stress. So in such situation, how does meditation help, and what would you recommend for them?
See, I think that for an acute stress where it's really out of control, I would say medication is not bad. You might have to get into medication to get off an acute problem. But long term, all these medications do have some side effects which are not very good. And even the doctor will tell you don't take it for long. So you have to find ways of dealing with stress. So one of the ways of dealing with stress we've discussed is meditation. Other ways is engage in a sport, or you do something called left nostril breathing. The idea behind all of this is to create a different environment for your mind. You need some nutrition to your mind. It's not about providing nutrition only to your body. You need to provide nutrition to your mind also. So you need to get positive thoughts in your mind. So that's food for your mind. So you need to change that, and you need to analyze that, how can I change it? And it's very easily doable once you get this formula right. So I don't think it's so much of an issue. The idea should be to prevent it rather than treat it.
Okay, great. And also, especially because this program is addressed for working professionals where, and again, not for a particular profession, but I think the environment where there is constant pressure, expectation, the need, and the desire to excel, and that also probably creates stress and just not our external environment. So, how do we really cope with that part?
Yeah. So I think that people have misunderstood the definition of excelling.
Mm-hmm.
They try to excel compared to someone else. And that is where the problem is, because you're constantly looking at someone else and trying to compare how can you better that person.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to excel is to excel your same individual of yesterday. So better your own performance. And that is not as stressful as trying to compete with someone else who's opposite you, who's probably not related to what you're going through. So this I have learned over time, that don't compare, don't look at someone else about how good or bad he is. Because for every two people who are better than you, supposedly better than you, why don't you realize there will be millions who are not better than you? So I think that's the only way to go about it. And second, in a way to deal with stress, as I realized the time issue, you become more efficient. When you probably learn to meditate or do some ways of dealing with stress, you become more efficient. So you have more time for yourself. So you need that me time. You have to create the me time.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. That's very valuable, as you say, about who do you compete with, right? So, how do we get to your own best version every day? Another related point that stress has been creating, or sleep over stress, I don't know which comes first, not having enough sleep or not able to sleep, and then the stress. How are these two connected? And also, does like meditation help address both?
Right. So stress generally causes lack of sleep. That's commonest because your thoughts run the most when you are free at night. You're relatively free or you're not working. So stress causes less of sleep, but then it becomes a vicious cycle. So if you sleep less, automatically the this goes down. The stress goes up. If you've slept less, your performance goes down. If your performance goes down, your anxiety builds up, and again sleep goes down. So it's a vicious cycle. So what meditation does, which I used to not believe it, but then I researched it myself, and it's medically proven that when you meditate, you go into something called a deep sleep or a delta sleep within 2 to 5 minutes of starting meditation, even in the first session in heartfulness meditation, and which we have proven by doing a electroencephalogram, an EEG of the brain. And there we found practitioners going into this deep sleep within first 5 minutes of meditation. And this deep sleep is important for repairing our organs, repairing our body, and is the best sleep to have. So meditation can help you to sleep better. Once you sleep better, you get up better in the morning. So you meditate in the morning, you get a better outcome of your work. So your focus at work increases. So in that way, your output has increased. So the cause of the stress is gone because major cause of stress is expectation at work, right? That's what we discussed. So if you're going to excel every time the way you're working, your automatic stress goes down, and that leads to better sleep. So it works both the ends. So I'm not going to the science how it affects the brain, but maybe in some future sessions we can discuss the science of how meditation works on the brain.
Great, definitely. There's some questions, and I do want to tell our audience that please keep your questions coming. We do have some time parked for specifically taking your questions at the end, so keep them coming. And we will shortly get into a experiential practicing of what we are learning about meditation. But before we get there, one more question, Dr. Harish, that because of this, and again, the reasons could be many, but what people are experiencing is that there is so much uncertainty, especially because of the COVID and with many other things that's changing in our environment, that it is so much uncertain that it creates a kind of very depressing feeling that I don't know, I have lost control over the situation or things around me. So what would I mean, have you seen patients like that, or how do you deal with people who
Yeah.
come with those queries?
Right. So most of the uncertainty we see is mortality. They are worried about death. That's the commonest problem we face, and that is worsened during the COVID time. Now, what I generally ask them is, really, are we in control? Are we in control of our tomorrow, or were we in control of our past? We were not in control of either of the two. And by peeking into the past and anticipating the future that I'm going to die, you're spoiling your present. So the best way to live is to live for the moment. It's easier said than done, but once you give them an idea that, for example, if someone is walking down a street and he's fine, and suddenly car knocks him down, so he didn't know that the car is going to knock him down. So what's the point of worrying about something you don't know? I'll just give you a quick example before we go into the experiential session. Have you seen a hunt between a lioness and a zebra?
Mm-hmm.
So the hunt goes on, and the usual fight and flight response comes, and the wilder beast is running, and the lioness is chasing. But 30 minutes after the chase is over, and the lion is satiated and his stomach is full, you'll find the same wildebeest and lioness having water out of the same pond. But we humans,
Mm.
once we have a fight with someone, even a small fight with your wife at home, and or you fight with someone on the road while driving a car, you take that stress with you through the day, through weeks, getting angry ki how did that driver cut my car, how dare he do this. And whereas these simple animal, they just think of the stress at the moment, and the moment the stress is over, they switch off. So we have to develop that switch off, which can switch off your stress, and which is called eustress. Get stressed for the time being where the work is important, and don't get into distress. So remain in eustress, which is good. But excessive stress is going to destroy you. So we have to learn how to get out of this.
Absolutely. And I think a great segue for us to try and see, can we temporarily get this stress out of our system by experiencing the practice today.
Right.
So if you could give little instructions and guidance on for first time meditators,
Right.
what is meditation and what should
Right.
they, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to just give them a brief of how heartfulness meditation is done and how it works. And probably then after that, you can give them a relaxation technique, and we can give them a short experience of the meditation. So heartfulness meditation actually is self-explanatory. Heartfulness means dealing with the heart. So we believe that we should be meditating in the region of the heart. That's because we believe that's the seat of all emotion, love, feeling. So that's the reason we believe that we should meditate in the heart. So in this meditation, all we will tell you is that give a supposition that there is presence of divine light in your heart. Just give a supposition and then close your eyes and just let go. When I mean let go, just understand what I mean by let go. So the moment you close your eyes, you're going to have million thoughts racing down your mind, which is normal. Don't try to fight these thoughts. Just let these thoughts drop off. When I mean drop off, if you have a thought, say X thought, just remind yourself that I'm meditating. We can deal with this thought later. So what will happen? This thought will be replaced by another thought. Again, give that supposition. I'm going to deal with this thought later. Let me meditate right now. So the thoughts will keep dropping off. So you don't form a chain of thought. But if you start chasing a thought, then you will connect dots, and you will keep chasing a thought. And just in case you end up chasing a particular thought, just again remind yourself that I'm meditating and come back to your heart. And when one of us says that's all, you can keep quiet for a few seconds, few minutes, and then gently open your eyes. And you can feel what we are talking about. And you can, then Ganpati will, Jyoti will probably take you along how to see what you have felt. So if you're ready, let's experience it.
Wonderful. Okay, so I would take this as that our participants, our audience are absolutely ready to really wind down today with this experience. So we are going to start with a guided heartfulness relaxation technique. It's very simple. You will hear a set of instructions. Um, Only two things to follow. Number one, make sure you have no distractions around you, your gadgets, people around you. In fact, you can invite anybody who's around you over the age of 15 years to just join you right now and sit and experience this relaxation. The second instruction is that very in a relaxed manner, just follow the voice because you'll get the guidance and we'll experience this together. So, with that, I hope you're all ready and please sit comfortably. There is no specific posture as such, but if you can, sit in a posture which can keep your back upright, that will be helpful. Otherwise, you could be seated cross legged or with your feet firm on the ground. So, let's begin very gently and very softly. Close your eyes. Sit very comfortably. We'll begin the relaxation. It's a very simple instructions to help relax all parts of your body. We'll begin. Gently wriggle your toes and just feel them. Now, imagine there is healing energy from earth entering your system through your feet to help you relax. Now allow this energy to move up into your feet, your ankles, onto your calf muscles and your knees. Feel this energy helping you completely relax. Now allow this energy to move up into your thighs, to your hip region, your lower stomach, and your abdomen. Now feel this entire lower part of your body, both your legs are completely relaxed. Now feel this energy in your lower back, very gently moving up to your middle back and to the upper back. Your entire back region is now feeling relaxed. Any tightness or stress that might exist in your back is now completely removed. Feel this energy moving to your shoulders, very gently melting them away. Feel the energy moving to your arms, into your biceps, your elbow, forearms, into your palms, right up to your fingertips. If you feel this energy is oozing out from your fingertips, let that be. Both your arms are completely relaxed now. Very gently bring your attention to your facial muscles. Allow this healing energy to relax all parts of your facial muscles. Your chin, your mouth, lips, your nose, eyes, cheeks, your ears, and your forehead. Your entire facial muscles are now completely relaxed. Gently bring your attention to the top of your head and feel this energy moving to the lower back of your head, including your neck muscles. Your entire head region and your neck muscles are now completely relaxed. Take a moment to scan your body from the top of your head to the tip of your toe and feel this healing energy permeating into every part of your body, completely relaxing you. Keep your eyes closed and breathe normally. And now, in this relaxed state, bring your attention to your heart. Very gently, make a supposition that there is a source of light deep in your heart and it is attracting you from within. With this gentle idea, we will meditate for a few minutes. In case you are distracted by any other thoughts, please do not worry. Very gently remind yourself you are trying to meditate and bring your attention back into the heart region and stay with this idea that there is divine source of light within your heart and it's attracting you from within. Please stay with this thought until you hear next from us. attention. Continue to stay with that thought.
That's
So stay with your eyes closed for another minute and try to observe how you're feeling at this point in time. Try and observe and register this feeling, and once you feel comfortable and very gently open your eyes to come back to this present moment. As you come back to this present moment, take a moment to register this feeling or how you're experiencing deep within. What is this feeling? And at this time, as you're thinking and reflecting both how you're feeling physically and within, I invite you to share through one word or a phrase which reflects how you're feeling. Here is a Menti code. It's very simple. You can go to www.menti.com and put this code 59 90 22 29. I'll repeat 5990 2229. You can share and we can see as a group how we are feeling. You also have the link to the survey on your channel in the description, so you can directly click on that link and answer this quick question about how do you feel right now. So thank you so much for joining us on this experience. I'm now seeing a lot of you are sharing on the chat that you're feeling very nice, relaxed, felt sleepy. Some of you felt impatient and wanted to open your eyes, really enjoyed it, feeling calm. Wonderful. Thank you so much for keep them coming, and we will also together see what the Menti survey says. But in the meantime, Dr. Harish, if I could ask you a question that which is the most popular one when people start to meditate, that there is a lot of thoughts that just come rushing as you begin to meditate. So why does this happen, and are we how do we really avoid these thoughts?
yeah. So most of these meditations really fail because we try to push these thoughts away. So thoughts coming into the mind when you are free or if you are alone with yourself, it's very normal. So the idea is not to chase the thoughts away. The idea is to let them be. Treat them as unwanted bystanders. It's like you're driving down the road, you keep the scenery keeps changing. So you let the thoughts come and go. Just don't chase them. But again, it's easier said than done. So what is so special about this meditation in heartfulness that helps you keep these thoughts at bay for a certain period of time or a longer period of time is the process of transmission, which is called pranavati. And transmission actually is, in simple science term, it's transmitting something from one place to another. In our thing, it's transmission of energy. So we transmit the energy from the source via the trainer. Some lots of people like us who are trainers, voluntary trainers, into the aspirant, and that helps him dealing with these thoughts easier. In fact, if you practice this for 2 3 sessions, you will realize that there was a moment in time that there was a gap between your two thoughts. That's what we call a pause. And that's the pause you have to introduce into your life. And this pause is going to change your life from life of reaction to a life of response.
Okay, okay. Um, and also continuing on that thought question, um, is it a good indication that if I have lesser thought that I've had a good meditation, or how do I know that I've
Okay.
actually meditated well?
So each meditation is a different experience. So do not try to analyze each meditation based on the number of thoughts you've had. Because many a time, maximum thoughts still can have a better feeling once your thoughts are gone. You have a better feeling after the meditation. So don't try to judge your meditation by your thoughts. And there are two other aspects to our meditation which will be introduced when we get into the proper 3 sessions, which will help you reduce these thoughts, the influence of these thoughts. And that I think will be discussed later, the process of meditation, the process of cleaning, and the process of prayer. So I won't go into that. Probably when you do the 3 day session, you would get to know more about how to deal with them. But if you get out of meditation feeling better than before you went into it, then obviously the meditation has worked for you. There's no question about that.
Great tip for all new meditators. If you have had, now we have, if we have the mentee survey outcomes, it'll be wonderful to see it together. If you can have that screen up.
So till they have this survey, I think we have a question about how to let go thoughts, which we have discussed, and how to know that we are meditating. So the best way to know that you're meditating is that you will feel that you are feeling lighter, you're feeling peaceful, you're feeling calm. The gap, as I told you, between thoughts is reducing. So you really know that you are meditating. And sometimes you tend to fall asleep and you're really worried whether you're sleeping or not. And then you realize you were aware of the external environment and yet you were sleeping. So obviously you were meditating. And you cannot always remove the mind out of it. You're not removing the mind out of the picture. Don't misunderstand that. Mind is a very important tool. So don't try to remove the mind out of the picture. All we are trying to do is moving from thinking, that's the mind, to feeling, that's the heart. We're just reversing the axis. So we want to use the heart to control your mind rather than the mind controlling the heart. That's all you have to do. Because mind is a very important tool. So don't try to negate the mind completely.
Great. Um, okay, so I think we're bringing up the screen on what our people have experienced today. So it's wonderful to see that the big one on there is relaxed. And that's the whole idea of using these techniques to relax, feel calm, refreshing, peaceful, positive, sleepy. I think that's a good one. So thank you so much for sharing your views here and how you're feeling right now. It's amazing. But Dr. Harish, on that topic of sleepy, is it okay? There's a question that is it okay to sleep,
Yeah.
or is it okay if we get to sleep during
Okay.
meditation?
Now you have to distinguish sleep. There are two types of sleep. One is that you're already sleeping before the meditation started. So that's why we say don't meditate lying down because you would sleep off. And the second is something called yoga nidra. That's the yogic sleep. This is a sleep where you are in a state of deep sleep, the delta wave we were talking about. So you're into deep sleep, yet you're aware of your surrounding. So if you get that feeling that you are really feeling sleepy, but yet you're aware of your surroundings, and when you get out of the meditation, you're not feeling groggy. You don't feel. See, if you get up suddenly from sleep, you feel groggy. But if you got out of the yogic sleep, you feel
Mhm.
refreshed. So sleep actually is not a bad idea if you sleep off during meditation.
So it's all about how you feel after
Yes.
meditation. Okay, wonderful. Um, there's also a comment that yes, there was, I think, a little bit of a traffic noise somehow, and we are amidst a lot of external noises. So, how important it is, Dr. Harish, that we can we really always meditate in a very peaceful, and can we
Yeah.
avoid the external noises, or how especially for new meditators?
I think for a new meditator, it's better to have a place which is calm, quiet, because when you're new, you're still not reached a stage of, you can meditate wherever you are. So I think it's better to have a quiet room, a calm place, a good seat where you're comfortable. So yes, for the beginners, yes, we have to have a place which is quiet and calm. Otherwise, it can get disturbing. But once you get used to it, then it doesn't matter.
Great. Okay, so a little bit wrapping up on our topic today, that how do we really cope with stress and anxiety, which I think we have a wonderful tool that we've introduced today to everyone. But in terms of how would you suggest that holistically, as a wrap up comment,
So,
I would say, for our discussion today, Dr. Harish.
so one is obviously we've given you a tool how to deal with stress and anxiety is meditation. I think that's one of the best tools you can get. But the important thing to realize is to accept that you are stressed and anxious. Many a times we do not accept we are stressed and anxious. We think that we are in control all the time. For a change, it's good to lower your guard. Don't always be that I am in control. It's good to accept that you're not in control and you need help. And then there are multiple ways. As I said, you can play a sport, you can do left nostril bleeding, breathing. You can sit down and with the family, watch a good movie, laugh it out, join the laughter club. Anything that gets you away from the run of the mill day will help you relieve stress. So there are multiple ways of doing it. So you can choose yours. But if you want something that is sustainable, then I think that probably meditation is the most sustainable, easy, and doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, and that actually takes us to another interesting question from the audience, that while I started meditation with a lot of zeal, but then I lost interest, and there are ups and downs about, I don't feel like meditating sometimes. So, how did you deal with that?
That's very normal. As you heard my story, that I didn't meditate regularly either because you tend to feel it's not working. That's the commonest reason you feel that it's not being done. So, what you need to do is what is one by experience. If someone tells you you're changing, then you're changing for the better. So, that's a positive reinforcement that you're doing well despite you not feeling well. That's one way. And second, always best way is to have a buddy. Like for me, it's my wife. So if two people are there, if one goes down, the other one pushes you and says, "Keep trying it; it will work." It's if I give you a very quick example between Sachin Tendulkar and Vinod Kambli. Vinod Kambli was a more talented cricketer than Sachin Tendulkar, but Sachin Tendulkar reached the peak and Vinod Kambli didn't because Sachin Tendulkar was perseverant. He kept at it. Even if he failed, he kept at it. He kept at it. He kept doing it. So he kept practicing. Where Vinod Kambli was, say, he was busy and happy with his talent. I'm very talented. I don't need to practice. So that's the difference. So when you go down, when the chips are down, you probably have to work harder. So in fact, when you don't feel like meditating, it's time to catch hold of a trainer and really try to meditate. That's why you need a buddy. Either you have a buddy or you contact a trainer or we have hearts apps where you can on mobile online have a session.
Wonderful. And on that note, Hearts app is something that's available free download. You could do a meditation with a trainer anytime, anywhere. There is also a Heart Spots, which is a place to find a trainer close to your home. So we will share all these links with you so that people who are interested to pursue this further, learn further. I think we had a question on mentees, so please make sure you leave your email ID with us so that we can reach you and help you to further take this techniques to your well-being. So with that, I think we've come to the close of our session. I'm going to take a minute to again remind our participants, number one, to first of all thank you for all joining, but also remember that next week same time, which is Friday 7:30 p.m., We will meet again to discuss our second topic in the series of 4 workshops, which is all about rising above crisis. The topic that we will discuss on next Friday will be all about emerging stronger. I would like to end this session with this quote: hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. May we all find the strength and support to deal with what we need to and emerge stronger. Take care, stay safe, and thank you so much for joining us today. And once again, thank you so much, Dr. Harish Mehta, for being with us today.
Thank you, Joe.